Yo everybody and welcome to a look back at 2018. Hopefully this episode, well, I suppose it's an episode, a look back episode. I don't know what I'm on about. Hopefully this will be coming out a lot sooner than the 2017 one, which came out like 3 months into the year. Either way, this is basically, I'm going to look through all the series I've done or played through and just talk a little about them and whatnot and stuff behind the scenes, I guess. I don't know. We shall see. First things first, I just want to talk about some small changes I've done. I've made some new playlists, all things blank, such as all things Sonic, all things Shantae, soon to be all things, what's it called? All things Resident Evil, say, just so then, you know, they're getting uploaded in the order, they're getting put in the playlist in the order that they get uploaded. So then, if you just want to binge the one series, you can just play one playlist and they're all there rather than having to go between playlists and whatnot. Also, the art things have been slowing down a bunch. Mainly because I find that some of the thumbnails have become simpler, while others that I wanted to make a bit more complex. There's always been issues where I recorded like the first 10 minutes or so and then I hit the wrong key and I'd stopped recording and hadn't noticed. That stuff has happened a lot, so I've slowed down on the art things, but they're still happening, as you can see with the thumbnails. Anyways, I don't think there's anything else right now, so let's just jump right into it. We've got a long list to get through. First, I want to go through, touch on the ongoing series, stuff that I started in 2017 that continued onwards, such as Star Ocean 3. I really like this game still, and even though there's been a bit of a break, especially in the last half of the year, it's something I'm going to get back into soon. I'm not going to talk too much about it right now because it's not finished, so that's what you're going to get with most of these ongoing series. Stardew Valley, once again in a similar boat. Had some hiccups here and there. Had one episode where I recorded the whole thing, and I lost all the actual in-game footage. I still have myself, but didn't have the actual in-game footage. So what I've done is with that footage, with my audio, I just take screenshots from other things that kind of relate. It's going to be an odd episode. I remember losing another episode as well, but I noticed before the day was up, before the game autosaves, so I could stop and redo the day essentially. That's a still fun series. I'm looking forward to playing the game again with like different mindset of how to make a farm. But even so, I cannot wait to see where the Yoshizawa or the Zawa farm goes. Moving on to Minecraft. This is a series that slowed down quite a bit. This might be a series I end up streaming more often rather than just doing Let's Plays. Like a nice big chunky stream and upload that. Started off with the floating islands motif, my main big project, and I've really been wanting to do this idea of a giant floating city on like multiple floating islands and stuff. It's something I really like doing, and it's a series I want to get back into, but like I said, we'll see in time. Finished Disgaea 1, although, you know, by finish I mean just the main story. There's still other things I want to do, like Etna's story and some of the post-game content, which I wouldn't mind doing before getting into Disgaea 2 stuff. We shall see. The issue with it though is a lot of grinding at this point. There's a lot of repetitious stuff, so this might be another thing that gets switched to being streamed just for the post-content stuff, and then when we get into Disgaea 2, that'll go into, I don't know. We'll see with Disgaea. And it's while I don't think any episodes came out this year, I still feel the need to at least bring up Final Fantasy X. I'm not sure what I'm doing with Final Fantasy X at the moment. It's gone to the point where it's very long break in between the last episode and the next. And I'm not entirely sure how I want to handle it. But we'll get... It's still something that I'm going to figure out at some point. My gut feeling right now is I'm going to just record the story and then do all the post-game 100% stuff in streams. And then have them be post-thing and then do the story, basically finish the game, and then revert to a save to do the 100% stuff. I think that's what I'll do. We'll see. But enough of that. Those are the ongoing-esque things, or the things that started in 2017. Although some of these did also start in 2017, but, you know, semantics. Anyways, let's start off with the Shantae DLC. I'm grouping both Whiskey Boots and their friends to the end together, because might as well. These games are fun. The base game, Shantae Half Genie Hero, was amazing, and so the DLC is really good. It's amazing how much usage they get out of these levels by just simply switching out the character's abilities, changing a few things. It really works well in order to get the most out of what we see. And also the humour and stuff we get to see more of. And just more personality of these side characters, which we haven't seen too much outside of, you know, a couple of them. So it's nice to have them be fleshed out a bit more. Along with Friends to the End, the best part, of course, where we're having each character has their own section challenge right at the end. And I vividly remember going, "Oh yeah, Sky's stuff will be easy." She's like the easiest to maneuver or whatever. And then being stuck on her for like half an hour. Fun times. And of course, Risky Boots. Who doesn't like playing as Risky Boots? I just can't wait for more Shantae. So now, here's another series that started in 2017 that ends here with, you know, quickly becoming one of my favourite franchises, is Steins Gate. Visual novel, very fun, very engaging story, very memorable characters, and ones that, you know, I just want to see more of. It's hard to speak about Steins Gate without spoiling things. I definitely think it's a story that going into it knowing as little as possible is always the best. Of course, it's a bit tricky because the story itself doesn't start to pick up until later on, like a good few hours in, but that's typical with most visual novels, or even with the anime. Steins Gate as a whole is a series that I want to almost make a video dedicated to just talking about it. And I'm thinking I will, but I'm holding off until I've played the Red, whatever you want to call it, the Steins Gate Elite, and see how that works out with things. Yeah, there's not much else I could say about Steins Gate without getting into spoilers. So let's talk about more Steins Gate. Basically, the Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds Overdrive, the Krisu playthrough. So I had this game for ages, like since it first came out, just the Battlegrounds on Steam. Or did they have it on Xbox Live as well? I don't know. I basically had this game for a while. Never really played it. And then eventually it came out on Switch, and I noticed, hey, Krisu's in this game. I love Steins Gate. I love Krisu. Why don't I do a playthrough and play as Krisu? And I loved it. It was so much fun. Krisu's moveset is hilarious. And the game overall is great. The only thing I would wish is they would have had a actual cutscenes dialogue between Chrisu and the bosses or whatnot. Just even though it was just if it was nonsensical, dumb stuff, I feel like it would have been great. But overall, Battlegrounds, Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds Overdrive is a game I wouldn't mind going back to and like actually trying the story with some of the other characters, because that could be fun. It was an overall enjoyable beat 'em up. Very cute style as well. Finally, in the Steins Gate section, is Steins Gate 0. Once again, one I can't really talk too much about. All I will say is I really didn't know how I felt about this game afterwards. Like, after I finished the game, I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about the way things progressed, the story beats, missed opportunities and whatnot, but eventually, as more time passed, the more I started to appreciate the game and like it more. Like, you could tell at the end of Steins Gate 0, right after the game finishes, like after the final scene, I'm pretty much silent throughout. Like, I don't talk over the credits. I'm just trying to mull things over, and I just couldn't at that point. And it was around this time that I was taking a mini break, air quotes, along that. Basically, I like pre-recorded almost all of Steins Gate 0 before the first episode came out, so I then spent a month of just having them up and only one episode a day, so then I basically had a month where I wasn't doing anything on YouTube, which was nice, but it didn't last long, because I remember recording like most of Max Payne 1 and 2 during that time off, as well as another game which we'll get into later. But as for Steins Gate 0, I like it. I like it a lot more now than I did playing it, if that makes sense. I'm not going to go too much into the details once again, because I feel like I could do more justice into it in a own separate video, where I don't have to worry too much about spoilers. Just know that Mahou is amazing. Moving on, we have Yume Nikki. This game appeared on Steam randomly, along with a countdown, which I was super excited for. Yume Nikki is a game that I played back in 2007, 8? 7 or 8, I think. I'm not sure. I can't remember when I first discovered it. It was a relatively long time ago. I think I discovered it like right after the final patch came out. Not long after that, and it was just awesome. It's a game quite unlike anything other. Like, since Yume Nikki came out, there have been other games like it, like Dot Flow, and I would argue that Dot Flow is I prefer Dot Flow than Yume Nikki, but not by much. Yume Nikki is a special game. A game which has stuck with me more than I expected to. And it's just a game where all you do is walk around this girl's dream, and there's no dialogue. The enemies don't really do much to you other than forcing you to wake up and start again. Loads of random events, but just the idea of exploring this dream world was very bizarre, and just the visuals you saw conveyed some messages and stuff. I don't know, it's a game worth seeking out and playing, or at least watching someone if you really don't want to play it yourself. And when they came out with this version on Steam, which is great, very convenient, because it's a bit of a pain in the ass to play nowadays, or at least the non-Steam version. It's nice to have a nice, fresh version to play. And then it came out with this countdown leading towards Yuminiki Deep Dream Diary, which is a game I'm not too sure about still. Right, it's I wouldn't say it's a remake. It plays more like a pseudo sequel, kinda, but at the same time not. It's a 3D platform puzzle game more than anything else, which is fine, using locations and characters from Yuminiki. Admittedly, when I first heard of it, I was kind of very hesitant, because I was worried they were going to introduce things and potentially tarnish, as random, as weird as it sounds, tarnish the other game. But thankfully, they didn't. Admittedly, the game is almost forgotten. As I was going through this list, prepping this list, I was like, oh yeah, that game came out. Which is a shame. But I don't know. It's a game that I wouldn't mind doing another video on, just speaking my thoughts about the Dream Diary. They did update the game as well, which was nice of them, which included a new area. That snow area took so long to get through, which I'm dreading if I want to play the game again. And a couple of things, but I don't know, which was nice. A couple of steps in the right direction, but still nothing to... I don't know. It's still a game that I'm unsure on how I feel. So let's move on to Magic the Gathering Arena. This is a game that I've been doing daily since I started doing it. I may have missed a day, but that was purely by mistake, and if I missed it, I may uploaded to the next day, that kind of stuff. I really suck at Magic the Gathering. I'll just say that right now. I have some moments of genius, but overall, I'm bad at making decks. My habits of play aren't very deducive of me winning, and I just make bad choices throughout, and yet I still love the game. And I really enjoy playing Magic the Gathering. It's something that I would like to get better at, but, you know, looking back, I feel like I've only improved slightly. In due time, I may consider having this not be a daily Let's Play type thing, but more of a stream. I'll stream once a week and, you know, do it that way instead of trying one a day, but we'll figure it out. I know way back when it started, I was doing much longer episodes. Not on purpose, it's just I really wanted to keep playing the game. So it's like, I'll just do another duel. The episodes keep getting longer and longer, but I feel like it's much better if the episodes are shorter. The downside is I play less, but hopefully when I stream, we'll figure it out. But there's still going to be more Magic coming, and eventually my crappy ass will get better at it. Maybe. We'll see. Following Magic, we move on to Max Payne. Now this is one of the series that I've been wanting to do early on, like when I was starting doing YouTube. This was on the list. I wouldn't say it was high on the list, but it was on the list, that's for sure. And man, I enjoy these games, or this game in particular. It's rough around the edges some places, but overall it has a charm that isn't quite like other games, like that only it has. Max is an endearing character despite him not really being a likable one. I don't know, I like Max, but the action he does in the game are, especially in the later ones, very self-destructive, very... I'm unsure on the words I want to use, but Max is a very sad character, but a badass in every respect, and, you know, you gotta love him. And the gameplay in this one, is very arcadey, very not precise. Like, the bullet spread is very high, so it's more of a timing thing of who to pick out first, and when to dodge and slow time and stuff. Because the slowdown, while awesome, isn't quite as good in this game as it is in later ones. But still, the first game, it's good. It's a good game. Following that, we came across Command and Conquer. One of the games I grew up on, like way back when I was a little boy, playing this game, being really bad at it, and I kept thinking I never beat this game because I was really bad at it, and I beat some of the later Command and Conquer games, but going back to the game, some of these missions are really tricky and quite unfair, but still, I love the game. I wonder if I should have not bothered trying to do every mission instead of just doing the campaign as it was. Instead of having to load my save again and do the optional missions and whatnot. I'm unsure. Or the optional maps. Because while I like doing it and getting to see all the maps and missions that there are, definitely slows the whole process down. But we'll see. The original idea with this as well was I was going to have 2 episodes a week. 2 episodes every weekend. So then we would eventually get through all of GDI and then get through all of Nod. And then slowly get into the next series. Be it Red Alert and then Tiberian Sun, and keep going through all them. But it's just slowed down because I've not recorded a bunch in a while. As we get later into the year, a lot of other things piled up at the same time. Almost as much as last year. Like last year, we had a lot of big titles that came out, like Zelda, Mario, Hat in Time, that just all piled up that I just wanted to blast through. Which, admittedly I did quite well. If I am allowed to compliment myself for once. I don't know. Not sure how that works. But this time I had a lot more series that I was trying to get going at the same time. Like, we had Command & Conquer, we had Max Payne going on, we had Magic the Gathering. Lots of things that I was trying to do at once. And because of that, I kind of didn't focus on just one. So I have a lot of things that aren't quite finished. Which, admittedly, I kind of wanted to do in my time off from work right now. But instead, I'm just recording other things that aren't even on my list of things to record. But we'll get into them later. As for Command & Conquer, I will finish it, and I will do all the missions for GDI and Nod. And I'll probably continue trying to do all the missions for Red Alert and all the others, because I know later on in the series there's not as much choices, so it's not too bad. It's a series I will get back to, because I love the series. It's so much fun. The music's great, and the cutscenes are just phenomenal. And it's just something that I would like to say, yes, I beat all Command & Conquer games, because I've only beaten a handful of them now. And even when I say beat, it's mainly, I've beaten the one campaign, not all the campaigns and whatnot. But we'll worry about that later. One thing about Command & Conquer, it's quite a pain to play and record. Like, I have to be extremely careful of the escape key. If I accidentally nudge that, the game just shuts down and I lose all my progress. Clicking Alt-tabbing as well, or hitting the Windows key. There are a lot of keys on my keyboard that I have to be really careful about clicking, because it will just minimize the game or whatever, and then the game just goes, nope, I'm done. I mean, I've lost a couple of episodes because of that as well, which really helps slow things down a lot. However, it's definitely worth the hardship because the game is fun. And moving on, we got the Phoenix Point Alpha. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are the Alpha builds for the backers of the game. I've only done 5 episodes so far of this. On the first build, 2 showing the story, like the one mission, and 3 doing the randomly generated ones. This game shows a lot of promise. I know they've done several other builds since, one of which includes the entire like geoscape world overview, like some of the grander strategy style things. I want to do more videos on them, like assuming I had time to do them or wasn't distracted by loads of other things. I want to do more videos on them, but at the same time I kind of don't, because I'm waiting for the full release. I don't want to spoil the game for myself before the game comes out. So it's like the same thing happening with Yandere Simulator. I don't want the route to get tired of the game before the game comes out, and I want to be surprised and react to things organically, or react to things without going, oh yeah, this is just like how I did in the backer build. I should do XYZ and that will give me the best chances of success. I want to be like, go with this choice, yeah, and see. But I don't know. Well, I might do another couple of episodes of a new build at some point for Phoenix Point, just so then, you know, it'll be nice to go back and see the progression, I guess. We'll see. It depends on how far along development the next build will be and whether or not I have time. So, enough about Phoenix Point. Let's go to Theme Hospital. Along with Command & Conquer, this is one of the games that I grew up on growing up. Like, funny enough, when we got our Windows 95, we had a box of games. It came with 5 games. One was Command & Conquer, one was Theme Hospital, one was Magic Carpet 2, which will at some point be played on this channel. It came with a golf game, maybe, or a FIFA game, and a racing game. Those 2 didn't matter to me, but those first 3 games really stuck with me. And Theme Hospital, I spent hours on. I was rubbish at it as a kid, never quite understood it, but I remember getting to some of the midway through the game, before things really get hard, and playing it now, the stages I got to, I've never made it that far. They're quite tricky. They're definitely quite tricky, but I'm enjoying it still. And the main reason why I wanted to do Theme Hospital was because I knew Twin Peaks. No, not Twin Peaks. Twin Point. The Theme Hospital spiritual successor came out this year, which was something I was planning on doing a Let's Play on straight away as soon as it came out, but I didn't finish Theme Hospital in time. I could have, but I'm not entirely sure why. I think I was just really busy with work, and by the time I got home I really didn't feel like recording, so that's why I never got around to doing it. But I will eventually get around to doing it sometime after finishing Theme Hospital. I'm just not going to rush. As for Theme Hospital itself, love the game, can't wait to finish it and just play it. And the music overall, oh, so good, so good. Finishing talking about Theme Hospital, I'm going to talk about Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. So this came out. This is a stretch goal game for the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night Kickstart thing, which is Igavania's, which is the new Metroidvania by Iga, which is sometimes called Igavania's. And this was the stretch goal game, 8-bit style game reminiscent of Castlevania 3, and just the older Castlevanias in general, but specifically Castlevania 3. I like this game a lot more than I was expecting to. This game gave me a lot of hope for the Ritual of the Night. It did a lot of things right in my books. It was overly enjoyable, with what I still consider one of my favourite final bosses ever. Like the true final boss, after doing it the second playthrough, was just... I loved it. I know it's not a tricky boss, but it was still really cool. And that alone counts for so much more than it being a satisfying boss or anything. It was quite satisfying as well, but it was just super cool. I was like, yeah! And the other boss, the normal boss as well, the design on them is just super cool, and I really like it. And just the artwork and well in that whole game is stunning. So this game is definitely worth seeking out, and the playthrough as well. Just loved it. I remember after beating the one campaign, I can't remember the name of the guy, the original campaign, I was wondering, should I bother doing the other one? I decided, yeah, I'll do the other campaign with just the 3 characters unlocked straight away. I'm really glad I did. Like I said, it leads to a whole other final level and the true end boss, which I love. So overall, very good. And then, while I'm talking about this whole thing, I did do 2 episodes on the backer demo of Ritual of the Night, which, man, that game shows a lot of promise. Already it shows a lot of promise, and I really enjoy what I see. However, I do have some concerns so far. Nothing too big. I mean, they've already addressed some, well, they're addressing some of the issues. I don't know how well it's doing. Like, they've already brought up the fact that they're redoing some of the facial structures, then the mouths don't work better when they talk. People talk. They are trying to improve the quality in some aspects here and there. That's one reason why the game didn't come out in 2018. They decided, you know what, we're going to just push it back a bit more, have this game have a couple more months of polish before coming out, because once again, no one's going to remember a game being a year late, but everyone's going to be remember a game that is broken when it comes out, or unpolished when it released. So I'm okay with them just taking a moment and just polishing some stuff, whatnot. The other thing I'm concerned about is just the rate at which we're getting the weapons. This is a very weird complaint, but the rate in which we get the weapons. We got loads of weapons right at the start. Now, I would like it if... The thing I'm concerned of is, are we going to keep that rate going throughout? Like, we just keep getting weapons all over the place? Or are we going to have a case where... I don't know. It's hard to explain. But I'm just going to put my faith in them. I just want there to be enough interesting rewards out there that I feel like seeking out these secrets are worth it, if that makes sense. I don't want it to end up like Breath of the Wild, where I almost stopped caring about exploring because I knew the reward wasn't worth anything, and the journey itself as well wasn't quite as exciting. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that. But we'll move on to Dark Souls Remastered. This is a game, this playthrough in particular is one I tried doing many, many times before. Because I wanted to do a playthrough of Dark Souls using my favourite weapon in Dark Souls 1, which is the the Black Knight Greatsword, which is such a fun weapon to use. However, in order to get it, there's an enemy early on which has a 20% chance of dropping. I'm not entirely sure how accurate that number is, but he's a good like hour and a half into the game before that happened, before you get to them. And the issue with him as well is that once you kill him once, he doesn't respawn. The only other chance you get in it is right before the final boss. By that point, I don't want to get to the final boss or the last area, then get the sword. It kind of defeats the point of playing through the game with the sword. So I remember trying for a good 7-8 attempts on normal Dark Souls on my PC before eventually getting the drop. It's like, sweet, okay, record the first 2 episodes, the third episode's the drop, I'll record the rest afterwards. And then I never went back to that series. And then by the time I was like, okay, you know what, I'll come back to it, we'll start doing it, I want to play Dark Souls again. Then I started hearing, oh, Dark Souls Remastered is coming. And I was like, you know what, I'll just wait, I'll do it on Dark Souls Remastered, and it'll be great. And I think it only took me, I recorded the first 2 episodes, and then I started recording the one with the third episode, which had to be split into 3 parts. The first part was, continuation of the first 2 episodes. The third part was the montage of me getting to the dude, killing him, and it dropping. I want to say it took me 4 attempts this time round, and then the third part is, of course, continuation from that. Overall, really fun. I wouldn't mind doing more with Char at some point. Like, maybe continuing the save, getting all the trophies or whatever. Maybe as a stream. That would be fun. And I always like putting some backstory or personality to all my characters in Dark Souls. I don't know why, I just really enjoy it. Like, Char's a pyromancer who really likes big swords and cosplaying as one of these sisters or daughters of chaos. Yeah, Char was great. So we'll probably see more of her. Even maybe other Dark Souls. Like, all I really need is to make a pyromancer who loves ultra great swords. Moving on, we have Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion. Splatoon 2 was great. Never quite got into the multiplayer, but the single player was great. And with that in mind, when I say the Octo Expansion took what was great from Splatoon 2 and make it better. Like, this expansion is much more enjoyable than the single player component in Splatoon 2 by itself. Like, so much fun, so weird levels, such interesting gameplay tweaks to some of them. And just overall, like, the visuals so weird and trippy and 80s and 70s and 90s inspired, some of them. It's like, what? Whoa, what? So cool. Some of the levels are obviously tricky. I still remember struggling with the girl power station. That's still go. But overall, enjoyable nonetheless. And the music, once again, Splatoon music is always cool, so Splatoon has a distinctive style, which I'm really on board with. So I really enjoyed this game. And that ending, the boss itself was quite, entertaining. But the way this series ended, I'm still shocked at how close it got. We'll just say it. We'll just keep it at that. So we're moving on to some Valhalla of all games. There were some extra chapters that were added post-release. You had the weekend before, which included all the dogs and I forgot her name in that as well now. The vet and doll. Was it doll or was it tool? I can't remember, the robot, and all the dogs. Essentially, it was the weekend before the game started. These were the demo, proof of concept demo for Valhalla before the game came out, which they polished up, introduced it, made it match the rest of the game and whatnot, and boy was it enjoyable. They also had the epilogue chapter, which wasn't too much, and they also had another one as well with Anna. I'm pretty sure that's set before, the day before. I think that was just the free-to-play demo before. I'm not too sure. Basically, the extra chapters I missed. Valhalla is a game that I want to go back and do another playthrough of at some point. Because I really enjoy the game. That's pretty much the long and short of it is. And speaking of Valhalla, we also had Valhalla Kids, which was an April Fool's joke that I absolutely loved. A small little visual novel puzzle game where you played as boss of all characters and they try and figure out who broke Sai's stall. Very simple, but it all led up to the teaser for the next game that they're working on. And they've also came out and said that they might do more Valhalla Kids at some point, which I would love. Either way, Valhalla is a great game and I can't wait to do it again. And speaking of great games, we now have Sonic Mania's DLC, Sonic Mania Plus. So the Encore mode in this is a game mode that I enjoyed a lot more than I thought. Like the simple mechanic of you have no lives, but as soon as you die, another character you have will replace you, and you can only have up to 5 characters. It's such a neat idea, and you can switch between them a lot more freely. Overall, I really liked it. The biggest gripe I have with it is I kind of wish the bosses were overhauled a bit more. And some of the levels were fine, but I feel like, unlike Shantae, where you had the same level, but they were just tweaked a bit more to work with the different characters, and things were slightly different because of it. I feel like Sonic Mania could have used that a bit more. I know I keep saying it a lot, but it's like in Sonic 3 and Knuckles' playthrough was distinctly different because of the slight changes. Like the bosses were all harder, the levels were all harder, and just changed more. But I suppose with Plus it's a bit different because they weren't sure which characters you had, so they didn't. I don't know. It was still really good though. Like one of the better DLCs of the year, and just I love it. It'll probably be how I play Sonic Mania in the future. I probably won't play Sonic Mania. I'll probably play Encore mode more than anything else. Moving. Oh, and also side topic on this: the Sonic Mania Adventures cartoon things, amazing. Thank you, Sega, for allowing them to exist. So yeah, now moving on to Digimon World, a PlayStation classic in my opinion, where you're a kid who gets trapped into the Digimon world and you have to save File City. This game was a lot of fun. It was a bit of a lot of hoops needing to be jumped through, whatever, to get it to work, and I'm kind of hesitant right now to go back to it because I feel like I have to jump through a lot more hoops to get it working again. But it's a game that I really like. I always intended to play through this game at some point and get all the Digimon to join File City. I don't want to try and train all the Digimon, like I have my partner become all of them, because man, that would be tricky. But still, something I'm looking forward to finishing. And I also wasn't sure what to call my partner. Like, some names I thought was like, I'll call it Ifrit, because, you know, that works. But I felt like it was very appropriate to call it Yay or something, but I wasn't sure which gender it was going to be, because it keeps changing or whatever. So I went with Yoshi. It works. I wanted it to be Yoshizawa, like Yoshizawa, have it be the full name, but Sadly, it's not. It didn't allow me, so Yoshi it is, which is fine. It works. It's nice and fun, and that shopping minigame or store clerk minigame. Boy, howdy, was that fun. I may have done a bit of editing trickery to make it look a lot smoother in the actual series than it actually was. That's nothing too bad, right? But still, whew. Following that is another series that I love and I can't wait until I play more of them, is Kingdom Hearts. The first game is a game that I clearly remember being very excited for playing on the PlayStation 2. I clearly remember just walking around school talking about this game to my friend, like, oh my god, this is so cool. Like, before the game came out, I was really hyped about the game. Played the game, so much hype. And I'm looking forward to doing the rest of the series. Like, there's a bit of a lull now. A lot of these series I've just taken a bit of a break from. Not because I want to, it's just time constraints. And by that I mean I keep starting new stuff. I'm really bad at it. I need to stop, focus a bit more and finish the things I already... Ooh, excuse me. Finish the things I already have going, but I'm really bad at it. But basically, it's a series that I really like. And you know what? When I was starting this, I was trying to think, what do I want to start? I thought too much about it, probably. Like, I figured I want to do Proud. I want to do Proud mode playthrough. Yes. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should take the staff, because I remember magic being really good in the first game. I can't remember it being too good in the second game, but I remember it being super useful in the first game. I was like, okay, I'll take the staff. And then I was like, I really don't want to remove my attack though. You know what, I'll just dump my shield, so, you know, embrace the glass cannon. Boy howdy, has that thought bite me in the ass slightly. It was painful. It's been painful, but you know, we're getting there. Some things of note: I was trying my hardest to not get a game over or having to use a continue. I know Cerberus, I died a couple of times that I didn't show in the Let's Play because I wanted to. At that point, I was still going for the not dying thing, so I would load the thing and redo it. It was only like twice I think I died. I can't remember. I struggled with it though. But then after Clint, I hadn't saved right before the boss or something, or like the boss appeared before getting to the save point. Basically, there's some stuff before the boss. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna worry. Try to get that achievement trophy, whatever, of beating the game without using a continue. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I've forgotten about that, because man, it would have driven me mad. Probably. There's other choices in the game that I kind of regret. Like, there's an event in the game which, after you triggered the event, I didn't realize would change some things in some of the places that I hadn't finished yet. I'm keeping it vague because I don't know how many people know or are going to go watch it after this, but yeah. It's going to be a fun game to finish, and I'm looking forward to playing the other Kingdom Hearts games. I'm not going to get everything done before 3 is out, but I'll probably just keep going through them all and then get to 3 when I get to 3. It might, after the first game, it might become a stream rather than a let's play, because it will be kind of easier, especially from trying to get lots of the side quests done and whatnot. It'll probably be easier doing it in streams rather than the actual let's plays, but we'll see. moving from Kingdom Hearts to Dying Light. Now this is a game I've enjoyed but never really finished. And after seeing E3 with Dying Light 2 coming out at some point, it's like, wow, this game looks like it will be fun. Let's play it. And so it's like, you know what? Let me try and get the first one done first. Which, I enjoy. I like it. Struggling with the whole aspect of getting it done. As silly as it sounds. This is an open world game, and I feel like I should try and keep the open world games for streams, because if I just focus on just doing the stories and whatnot, then it kind of takes away some of the fun aspects of open world games, of just being distracted by things, doing things wherever, just exploring the world. So this game and a couple others might become stream games where I can do long sessions of just me goofing about a bit more. But that'll come soon, hopefully, after I've moved house, or finished moving house. Well, started and then finished moving house. So after Dying Light, we have Max Payne 2. Which, for some reason, I'm convinced I recorded this not long after Max Payne 1. I'm very convinced I recorded this not long after doing Max Payne 1, but I just didn't release it because there was so many other games that I was going through at the same time. Like that one window between Max Payne 1 and Max Payne 2, so many things came out at the same time. Most of them I've not even finished still because I'm juggling too many things. I've got too many projects I'm working on at the same time, which is standard for me, I guess. But we have Max Payne 2, improvement of the first game that ties up a lot of the loose threads in the first game. And this game is a lot of fun. The ragdoll physics in this game is just, that alone is worth playing. And then on top of that, you have fun gameplay, great story. I still go back and forth whether or not I like the first game or the second game more, story-wise and whatnot, but they're great games. Same with the third game. The third game, it takes a change in terms of gameplay-wise, going a bit more realistic. One of the most expensive games ever made. Especially single-player games. Oh no, there's a multiplayer mode on it as well. Either way, still, one of the more expensive games ever made, and it's a pretty game. Amazingly fun to play. Like, the ragdolls aren't as extravagant or flying all over the rooms as they were in Max Payne 2, but they're very well rendered and executed in this one, like the way they stumble down and whatnot. The big misstep with Max Payne 3, I feel like, is at the end of Max Payne 2, you got the sense that Max was starting to get his life back in order. And then in Max Payne 3, he was like, no, he doesn't. He doesn't get it, sort his self out. But he does at the end of this game, and I'm like, if they ever do Max Payne 4, is the same thing going to happen? I was like, oh no, he wasn't quite in the right mindset or something. I don't know. It's a series I love. It's a series I would not say no to a fourth game. Yet if we don't get Max Payne 4, I'm okay with it. Mainly because this trilogy is great. And while they couldn't really do much with tying the third game to the second and first game, I feel like it works well as a bookend. And also that scene where Max goes into the strip club bar thing, and censoring all the Max Payne, all the breasts with the Max Payne smirk face. That was super entertaining because I couldn't stop laughing at Max's smirk. It's such a silly smirk. It is so good. But yeah, there we go. That's Max Payne 3. And then we had more DLC, this time for A Hat in Time Seal the Deal. This DLC was good. And by good I mean great and adorable. And oh my gosh, adorable. It added a lot of challenge with the Death Wish mode. Which just gave loads of super hard challenges that I've not, like, one of them I still struggled at trying to comprehend and do. And it's quickly, I realised that, yeah, this is definitely something I should stream, because I could probably spend 3 hours just trying to do one challenge. Which doesn't quite do well for a YouTube video, but for a stream it's fine. The seal bit though, the boat, that was adorable. I kind of wish it was a bit longer. It felt you only had three missions there, which is a shame. Because I just wouldn't have minded more, because I enjoy the world and the characters and the music. Everything about the game is just really good, and I just would like more of it. Is what I'm getting at. So the steel bit, the Death Wish, is super expansive, so I can't really complain. And I believe there's one more Hat in Time DLC coming, so fingers crossed, can't wait for that. Then we have another big game, Red Dead Redemption 2. I wasn't planning on playing this game. Wasn't planning on getting it anytime soon or let's playing it. But when I was hanging out with a friend of mine, Crimson May, who you'll hear about in a bit, we saw trailers or something about it, or I can't remember, there was just footage I saw and I was like, oh, I want to play this game now. So straight from getting back from America, the day I got back I believe, or the day after I got back, it came out, so I just started playing that. This game is big. This game is very expansive. A lot more than I thought. Or I should say, I'm a lot more overwhelmed at how big it is. And I keep forgetting, wow, there's so much to do in this game. Which is almost a double-edged sword, because there's so much to do in the game. I don't spend that much time playing the actual story, and it got to the point where lost interest is not the right thing to say, but I've kind of, the drive for me to continue playing isn't there because the story quite hasn't hooked me yet. And I feel like the story will get better, but the hook isn't. It's like I can see it developing a lot more interestingly, but I was like, I just need, I don't know. I feel like they needed to do a better job at hooking me earlier on, and I know this is just me, my personal preferences, and admittedly I've taken a bit of a break with it because other games I wanted to play and yada yada yada. And I don't know, something I'll come back to. This will probably be a game that I end up streaming once again, just then I feel more open, because I know there are 2 episodes that haven't been released yet, that all I do is just mess about and trying to get some of the challenges done. And some of them is just me on top of a train arguing. It's like, well, why am I on top of this train shooting for this challenge? And then the game gets all pissy and sends policemen off on me. It's like, yeah, there. It's kind of, I think it was entertaining. But I feel like it will be a bit more beneficial if I streamed the game. Simply because I'll feel less pressure to just focus on progressing and just allow myself to do it at my own pace. I mean, that's what I'd be doing anyways, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see with that. Now, as I was mentioning, Crimson May. We've got 2 series here that I played with him when I was in America. The first one is Battle Chef Brigade, and I feel like I need to just address the fact that the audio in this was awful. I'm not entirely sure what happened to the mic, but the settings seem to have gotten messed up, so we sound like we're in a well that got dropped into another well that got exploded up by the sun. I don't know, it just sounds really awful. And also the game audio got missing, so that's also a shame. I don't even know what happened to that. Either way, the game Battle Chef Brigade got updated to allow versus mode, which is something I never expected to come into this game. I just figured they would add it into a second Battle Chef Brigade if they were to make one. And boy, was it a lot of fun. Very tense. You could tell at the third duel, I kind of get a bit quieter, slightly, or especially at the start, I stop paying attention to the game for a bit, and I realized that the audio doesn't seem to be right, but prevailed because the game, even if the video didn't end up getting made or we ended up scrapping it, I didn't really care because it was just fun to play the game, and also fun to play it with Crimson May. And following up with that, we had Super Mario Party, which, holy boy, this game was fun. We did a lot of this game, going through all the main boards and then trying out some of the other modes. I think we tried out all the modes except for the single player do all the mini games challenge. But yeah, this was a very fun game. And always a fun to play games with the Crimson May, and hopefully now, when my internet has improved, after I moved I should say, I should be able to play more games online, and you probably see more of him on my channel, hopefully. And once again, for the last episode of Super Mario Party, the audio for the game itself went missing. So this is where the problem started, and because then we recorded Battle Chef Brigade after Super Mario Party. So that's something happened between those episodes that caused the game audio to get missing. I don't know what. Either way, lots of fun. I cannot wait for a rematch, which should be fun. Now, this is where the interesting stuff happened, because we are currently moving house. The internet in the house I live in right now is awful. It doesn't allow me to stream. Uploading things takes hours, and it's awful. But it works. However, we are moving house to a much nicer house, bigger, have more room. I'm hoping it's not going to be noisy, so I can keep making videos and stuff. But basically, the big takeoff is that in the new house we have internet, good internet at that, and I've been going there. As soon as the internet is all set up there, I've been going there every week or a few times a week to stream, just using the internet. The setup I have is very rudimentary. I've got a table, an old chair that I don't like anymore, that's there, and I just take my laptop, and I've been just pack up the microphone, headset, taking the old monitor or whatever, and just, setting up that way. And it's been a lot of fun. It's very exhausting. It takes me a good half an hour to set up, because sometimes when I get there I don't know where the plug cables are, because the wiring isn't set up, the lights aren't set up, the heating, we've only now just got the heating sorted out. There's no carpet still. But I'm there streaming. Got my heater, my portable heater with me, and the Kirby blanket to keep myself warm. But it's all quite entertaining yet exhausting at the same time. And I can't wait until I finally move in, so that I don't have to worry about this setup and set down. But I'll talk a bit more about the streaming in a bit. I just want to point out that this is at least where I start streaming chronologically, like between Super Mario Party and whatnot. One other thing from this, after streaming, I've discovered a new way of recording things that has allowed me to record my audio and have it be on a different track with the game audio. Basically, it cuts down on the amount of editing I need to do and the amount of sync, because I don't have to sync my voice with the game audio anymore. It's just automatically done. And it also means that I don't have to worry about my audio desyncing, meaning I can do much longer videos without having to stop every so often and let the audio render out or whatever, so then it doesn't desync, and then I don't have to spend as much time. I don't have to spend any time syncing at the start. So basically, it's actually saved me so much time in both recording long sessions and in editing, which is great. However, there's a couple of issues that have cropped up now and again, like my voice just suddenly becoming super deep and like not working. It's not good when that happens. But I'm looking into it. I've got some backup ideas in mind and whatnot, but generally, good things have happened since I started streaming. So we'll talk over the stream stuff in a bit, but there's 2 more Let's Plays I feel like I should just touch on before going in there. The first one is Killer 7. Now, this is a game that, for a long time, I consider it a game that helped influenced me, because I played this at a surprisingly young age, given what the game's all about. Not really understanding it. Still don't really understand it. But it's a very bizarre game. Much like Mimi Nikki, this is one of the games that I would consider, as pretentious as it sounds, this game I would consider a piece of art. It's hard to describe it. It's hard to sell it to someone, like looking. If you looked at the game and see some gameplay of it or whatever, it's like, this doesn't quite look like a piece of art. But it's a hard thing to describe, and basically I love it. It took me... It's funny, this was a game that I wanted to Let's Play before. This is one of the games I was like, yeah, I'm going to make a Let's Play channel. I'm going to one day play Killer 7. This was always high on the list of things to do. Yeah, I never got round to it for some reasons I'm not entirely sure. I remember the start of this year or end of it last year. I can't remember when. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make an effort to do Killer 7. Start that bandwagon going, and I went ahead and I think I even started recording, but I was having issues with the emulator or whatever. Or yeah, we would have been emulator at that point. I was having issues with the emulator. Saying, you know what? No, I mean, look into this again. Because then I was looking into getting some capture card stuff for my GameCube or Wii, because that would play GameCube games. I was like, you know what? What if I, instead of doing the PlayStation version, let's get the GameCube version, because the GameCube version runs better, plays slightly better. It was developed for the GameCube first, so it would obviously play generally better than the PlayStation version. And the PlayStation version is the one I had, so I went out, got the PS GameCube version, the GameCube version, and then I just sat on it for a while. Still unsure when I wanted to pull the trigger with that. And then, out of nowhere, I stumbled upon a tweet that said something about Killer 7 on Steam. I was like, wait, what? And then I did a little digging, and by a little I mean quickly Googled, and I was like, there it was. It's like, oh, it's coming to Steam end of this year. Huh. Why didn't I find out about this sooner? So yeah, I then just waited and played it on Steam, and boy, did I enjoy this game still. It's a game that I'll probably end up playing again. Probably stream it, just because it's a game that means a lot to me for reasons I can't explain. It's something that is a joy to experience it. I think I'm going to leave it at that. One thing I will note, I keep saying, I would have loved to have done a better job with the thumb. No, not a better job. For the thumbnail, I wanted to draw all the Smiths. Have it be a rotation of Smiths for each episode. Because I thought that would be cool. But I didn't, because time has been a bit of an issue. And drawing has been a bit of an issue just in terms of keeping my motivation going and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But the glass shatter effect thing, I'm actually quite pleased with that, how that turned out. I don't know why. It is very simple. Took me not too long to do, but still, I'm pleased with how it turned out. And yeah, Killer 7. I'm definitely going to do more Sudo 51 games at some point. Considering the first game of his I did was Killer 7, feels appropriate that the next one should be No More Heroes. Whether or not it is No More Heroes and not something else, we'll see. And no idea when I'll do them, but just know they'll probably happen at some point. Probably super random time while I'm in the middle of doing other things, as it tends to happen with me. And for the final Let's Play that got released this year, we have Resident Evil. I say final. I think Resident Evil 2 will start like 2 days before the end of the year, but we won't worry about that. Ignore that I said that bit, but don't. Anyways, Resident Evil. Resident Evil is a game series that I love. Let's see. I remember, I keep thinking like when my first Resident Evil game that I owned was Resident Evil 2. I remember have lots of memories playing that game because it came with 2 discs, one Leon, one Claire, and I gave my half a disc. I gave the Claire disc to my friend, so he would play the Claire campaign and I would play the Leon campaign, and we'd play a bit and then we'll swap the discs off to do the other sides. And I just really remember like lots of memories playing this game, which is a bit bizarre, but it's such a great game. No, it's the second game. And then I thought back and realised, no wait, I played Code Veronica first on the Dreamcast. And then I realised, wait, no, I might not have been the one playing it, but I just vaguely remember watching my cousin play Resident Evil 1 and being like, whoa, what? This is weird. There's zombies? Back when I was, I want to say 5, no, it wouldn't be, back when I was about 6, I think. And just watching that and being really confused, but thinking it was amazing. I'm going back and playing the game now, Resident Evil 1. Man, was that game filled with amazing dialogue. And so many quotable things. Like, it is amazing. Like, I decided early on that each episode title, I'll try and have it be a quote from cutscenes within the game. Some episodes I couldn't, like Hunters. Like, they're just the dialogues that sometimes they were just like a good 30 minutes where there wasn't any cutscenes or dialogue or whatever, or the dialogue that was there, just there wasn't anything entertaining. So I just had to, traditionally name stuff. How boring, I know. But yeah, it was very, going back and playing these is a lot of fun. I want to do the original PlayStation trilogy, 1, 2, and 3, before the 2 remake comes out. And that's why these suddenly appeared. But like when I'm in the middle of loads of stuff that I'm currently doing, that the Resident Evil games appeared, but I'm okay with it. And I figured I'd start with Jill first, then Chris, because Jill is arguably easier than Chris in almost every way, with the exception that Jill is weaker than Chris. Like, she takes less damage, but she has more inventory slots, so the puzzles are a bit easier. She has Barry to help her out, giving her items and directing her in ways to go, along with just generally helping you out with some shortcuts and stuff. Whereas Chris, you're a bit more alone, you have less items, you don't get the grenade launcher, but you do take more damage, which definitely helps, especially in comparison to when it comes to dealing with hunters. Yeah, overall really fun game, and one that I'm glad I played through again. I did the original version on the DualShock, so you had the hilarious music. But I'm going to do the arranged again at some point on stream, because then that changes up all the item placement and whatnot. Because I was originally thinking of streaming these games, but I figured, let's play them. So then when I let's play Resident Evil 2 Remake, it won't be as jarring. I guess. I don't know. Those are all the Let's Plays I did this year. Probably, I may have missed stuff. Probably. But then we've got 4 games that I've streamed so far that I should touch on. The first being Death Road to Canada. This was the first stream ever I did for this channel on my Twitch, whatever you want to say. And I knew my first one was going to be Death Road to Canada, because I love the game, for one, and I really wanted to play it more. 2, at that point in time, I wanted to test my streaming, if my laptop could stream, before trying to test whether or not it could stream on the console, capture card. So Death Road to Canada was a great game to start off with, because it's not the most intensive game, like in terms of power, but it was a fun game to do nonetheless. And I enjoyed it. And it was a great stream. Lots of people came by, and it was fun. And that, along with the next one, Let's Go Eevee, allowed me to join the Twitch affiliation program, which I'm really happy about. So yay. All happy things happening with the stream. And then let's jump onto Let's Go Eevee. And boy, howdy, this game is a lot better than what I was expecting. Right, we have such a great it's basically a remake or reimagining of the first game, but with this go capture thing. And I kept thinking, it's like, this isn't gonna work. I like actually battling wild Pokemon and whatnot. It seems so wrong. Like, giving it a go, I'm okay with it. Like, it works so well. It streamlines a lot of the battles and whatnot, and you could still grind, you could still do lots of stuff, you still have the battles. I do miss battling the wild Pokemon, but the fact of the matter is, this isn't going to be replacing like Gen 8 or Gen 9. The next generation is going to be like a normal Pokemon game, so at least these two can coincide. And I kind of wouldn't mind having a Let's Go Silver and Gold, which would be awesome, because I think Gen 2 is my favourite gen, as in Silver and Gold games, and Crystal. So this also hit a lot of the nostalgia buttons for me, like the music, the levels, the layout, the dialogue, so many good things, and the streaming it was just so much fun. Yay is a absolute beast, and yeah, let's go Eevee. And then we have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is a game unlike... It's a big game. Most of the stream was me going through World of Light, which just kept going and going and going and going and going and going and going, and then going and going and going and going some more. Didn't quite expect it to be so long, but nonetheless, it's such a fun game. Obviously, I played on hard mode. kind of regretted it well, I didn't regret it until the last boss, until the bosses essentially, because on hard the bosses have more health or defense, and they just hurt harder, so it's a lot more challenging. Some might say it's hard, hence the hard. And I didn't really have a problem with it except for the 2 last bosses. The final boss, for the true ending I should say, is amazing. I love that fight. Like, that had the right balance in my books, whereas the others didn't quite so much. But overall, such a fun game. And there's definitely going to be a lot more of Super Smash Bros. Because we've got all the classics to do. We've got loads of just Smash games to play, multiplayer. I know me and Crimson May are going to be playing it next time I go to his place and do loads of the like Squad Strike and all that stuff. And of course we've got the DLCs to be implemented and whatnot. So yeah, Smash Bros is just huge. And I don't know what to really say about it, because the stream itself, the one thing I will find funny is the amount of times I'd be like, yeah, okay, we're gonna finish World of Light. Didn't come close to finishing it. Multiple times. The first time I got to the actual final area, I was so drained at that point. I was hoping to have the whole thing finished in at most 6 hours, I think. But yeah, at most we'll have the game finished in about 6 hours. It took me 11 hours to finally go, you know what, I have to go back home to bed. Well, back home to edit this and then bed. So I had an 11-hour stream where I didn't finish the game, and that felt bad. But then the next stream I finished it in like 2 hours, I think. Which is like, yeah, great. Overall, great game. Can't wait to play more. And speaking of a great game, I can't wait to play more. The newest stream is Dead Cells. Very fun platformer game where you die a bunch. Roguelike. I like roguelikes. I like good roguelikes, I should say, as well. And this is definitely one of the better ones that I've played. Very fast, very fluid, very satisfying motions that I just love going around and killing guys and dying a lot. One that I'll probably definitely stream more. I might consider playing a couple of rounds not streaming, but just do long Let's Play style episodes because I'm itching to play more of it, so that's a good sign. But we'll see with that. I've not got much to say about Dead Cells just yet because I've only streamed it once, and I still feel like there's a lot more to that game than I've experienced so far. So we've got that's the whole list of games I've Let's Played and streamed so far for my channel. So we're almost done. There's a few things I want to touch on before I end this. I've recorded a few Let's Plays already, or started to record some, I should say, that haven't been published yet. And while I will save these like a more in-depth, I guess, question mark, I'm not too sure. While I'll save these more for when I actually, hopefully next year's look back where they actually get uploaded. I just want to at least mention that these were all being recorded and ready to go essentially. The first being Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom. Very fun game. XCOM meets Mario plus movement, I guess, because it's a lot more movement focused than cover based focus. Only done the first world on the game so far and need to go back and finish recording it, but that's gonna be great. Looking forward to playing more. After that we have Return of the Obra Dinn, or To the Obra Dinn. I think it's Of the Obra Dinn. Very clever game. A game, if you don't know much of, I think it's best you don't. I don't know. Basically, you play as an I don't know. I'll just say, great game, amazing art style. and you'll see it soon. And then a big one, of course, is RimWorld. I love RimWorld. I've been waiting for version 1 to come out so I could do a let's play of it, and I've been only playing RimWorld vanilla-ish because I knew I wanted to do a let's play of it, and I wanted my let's play to be vanilla. And I figured, you know what, I'll wait until I do my first let's play before adding loads of mods in. So that's really looking forward to playing a bunch of more RimWorld with a bunch of mods and stuff. And so far, this has been a very fun campaign. I'm not entirely sure when I want to start releasing things. Part of me wants to wait until the whole thing's finished, or until I have a huge backlog. We'll see. One thing I will say, one recording of this, I got the audio messed up, so I had to do post-commentary. That was fun. It wasn't. But we'll talk more about RimWorld next year. Same with Pikmin 1. Pikmin 1's a great game. The issue with Super Smash Bros., the biggest issue with Super Smash Bros. is it makes me want to play other games. One of the games were Pikmin. So it's like, you know what? Sod it. Record all the Pikmin. So I did all of Pikmin 1. And yeah, it was great. Pikmin 1's awesome. The main reason why I want to play Pikmin 1 as well is so that I can get to Pikmin 2. We'll worry about that later. Speaking of 2, I also finished Resident Evil 2. I did Leon A, Claire B, with the intention of streaming Claire A, Leon B at some point. But that's all ready to go. And I'm looking forward to playing the remake. It should be fun. I don't know how much I should talk about these yet, because once again, they're not actually up yet. But we'll worry about it later. And then the final thing recorded but not yet published is something I actually haven't technically recorded yet. By the time this goes up, it will be recorded, or at least started, which is of course Pikmin 2, game I really want to play. So yeah, that's things that have been recorded but not published. Most of these are already uploaded and just need to be scheduled and whatnot, or in some cases finished and then scheduled, but we'll worry about that later. And I think that's it for this look back. Thank you all for watching this, if you watched it all me rambling for way too long about my channel. Thank you for checking out my channel and staying with me this long, or whatnot. Hopefully you enjoy what you see, and hopefully this has been a good year for you, and hopefully things only go up. Streaming's been a lot of fun, and I feel like that's definitely opened up a lot more possibilities for me. So fingers crossed, things only go up from here. So once again, thank you, and I'll see you in the next year. Bye. I have no idea how I'm ending this. It'll probably just be me rambling on, say something random, and then just hard cut, or maybe fade. I don't like hard cuts. Fades are a lot more nicer, because hard cut is just like boom.